All right, this slow blues in C here comes from MCCD Sessions, Ice B, slow blues in C. I'll link it in the video description when I finish up. This is spontaneous as usual. Just wanted to come on, this time with a low Thunderbird. I was really bummed out about that last video, losing the audio and video sync. So I thought I'd do something related to a low F again and use the Thunderbird just to let you hear the difference between the Rocket Low and the Thunderbird from Hohner. It's a beautiful instrument. It's got the bamboo comb and it's got the open side vents and it just sounds wonderful. So again, this is a low F. I'll say this, thinking about slow blues, it's an interesting topic, I think, because in slow blues, there's a million ways you can play it, right? There's no one way to do it. However, I feel like the one thing that's common that I see a lot of people doing that maybe is making it more challenging, let's say, making it tougher for these people, for folks, is that there's no pace and maybe not quite as much space as they could have in their playing. And so what I recommend is, just focusing a little more time on those long notes and trying to really like carve out the space, maybe by letting some of the turnarounds go by and really thinking about your ideas as like statement, rest, maybe response to the statement, rest. And what's cool is, in a nutshell, when I'm thinking about slow, I didn't get there with this track, but I think of it starting nice and easy with simple riffs and nothing too fast. And then slowly that space gets a little shorter if you're taking a long solo and you're just building it up, and the riffs become slightly faster and a little bit more furious, like, for example, to the point where, you end up doing something like... Maybe so there's not as much space because you're building that tension up. So my biggest tip on a slow blues, and especially with a low F, since we're talking low F here, is like, it takes a little more air to get the reeds to activate on a low F. So just relax and try some slower inhale breaths, and trying to carve out that space between your ideas is essential so that you don't run out of ideas, you don't run out of air, pace yourself. That's the idea I have today. And again, this low F is perfect. It's just such a wonderful, not middle ground, that's the wrong word. It's a perfect balance, when you're playing cross harp, to not have that, always have to go to that high F like we've talked about before. Hey, good morning, everybody that is here today. That's right. Hey, saludos, Argentina's in the house. Cool. So, and just as a tangent for a minute, if you're working on, your low F unaccompanied and you're getting into, I mentioned some of this yesterday, but not all of it, learning a simple rhythm on the harmonica, learning a melody, and then learning how to improvise that 12-bar blues on your own, unaccompanied, things like that. That's a great place to start instead of just turning on the jam track and practicing, improvising with the jam track. It's like, what can you do on your own first? Well, the most basic thing I didn't share yesterday, I made it a little more complex, or whenever that was. I think it was 2 days ago. Play something super simple, like just in, out, out on the bottom, on the 1, 2, and 3 holes. Or maybe think about changing it to really work the diaphragm, like push, by going draw, blow, blow, draw, blow, blow, double time in the blows. And that can work up to something that is in that chug category that you're feeling good about, and you can really articulate these chords. If you've never thought about articulating chords, I cover this in the front porch harp class. All your chords have tongue articulations that you can use. All these cool sounds by just changing the articulation of the tongue. So on this rhythm, I'm using actually not a tongue articulation, but a vowel change kind of from E when the tongue is way up, E, and the tip of tongue is kind of behind your bottom teeth, E, to O where it drops way down. So I do that exchange of changing that from the draw chord each time I get to it. So it's E first, and then O on the second one. Now that you know what I'm doing, listen to all the inhale chords. I'll start on the inhale and listen to how, instead, if I didn't do that, here's what you'd get. Sounds kind of dry, doesn't it? So instead, and you can do this on a G harp if you got a G harp or an A harp, it doesn't matter. Instead, I'm going to go E, blow, blow, aw, E and aw. So listen to that exchange, how much it changes. It kind of rounds out the rhythm. It kind of just gives it a nice rounder sound. So that's my tip for working on this low F. Also, is just make sure you feel comfortable on these low keys, just breathing relaxed from your diaphragm. Get a rhythm, learn some melodies. Keep going, learn how to play that, a nice recognizable melody, maybe in second position with these bends. Or if you can't do that, bring it to first. Or up top, same thing, first position, upper register. Because then you've got something to say outside of just the improvisation side of things. And the final thing that we already discussed in the last video is like emulating a 12-bar blues on your own. That can be done in a million different ways. You could work on just chordal-based, mostly 12-bar blues. You could work on bass lines, but have something to say on that 12-bar. I can't emphasize that enough. If you're into blues harmonica specifically, you really want to have something to say in that format, 8-bar, 12-bar, and be able to emulate it with no accompaniment. So it's an important topic. But back to slow blues. Let's just pause for a minute. Long notes. I'm going to talk about one kind of an idea that just popped into my head. Bookending an idea. What does that mean to me, bookending? Before I explain that, what jam track should I be using with a low F? Simon, I'm using a track in the key of C major. That puts you in cross harp. You could try it, other positions. I just start with that C first. Second position. What else we got here? No, you did good by grabbing that low F rocket. Somebody's saying, let me move this over here so I'm not straining as much. Somebody said I just bought the rocket. That's great. So was thinking about the Thunderbird just to have something different, but I love the rocket so much. How do they differ? The main difference is that the rocket is plastic. This is bamboo. Let's see. And we got that design, how it's bowed out. It's thicker right here. See how that cover plate gets thicker? Right on the one draw to accommodate the swing of the one draw. So you can pull even harder without potentially hitting the cover plate and rattling. And some of the profiling, the work done on the reeds is a little different than a rocket. Otherwise, they're comparable in the way they play and sound, the tuning and the tone of them. I just love the rocket. I love the Thunderbird too, but the rocket's a more budget-friendly harmonica. A Thunderbird is much more expensive. So the price point, oh, off the top of my head, is at least the $30 to $40 difference minimum, I would say, between a Rocket and a Thunderbird. Let me know if I'm wrong. Somebody could look it up. So that's the main difference. But bookending, let's talk about bookending a riff. To me, that means, and I'll demonstrate this, but taking a long note, holding it like a four draw is a great starting point, playing a riff, and then ending on a nice long note again. A very simple concept. So I started on four and ended on two draw. And it kind of gives you a loose little formula for kind of creating some ideas. You might start on six blow. The key is the long hold. These long notes really just pull people into that slow blues. And I also like, hearing people really go crazy and rock to this, these kind of, like I demoed. I think it's not best when it's like, use that a little more sparingly and balance it with some more long notes and easy riffs. Milking some of these bends. But the essence of really, a great interaction to slow blues is somebody that's putting their passion in it first. They make you feel it, and that's something that's hard to teach. You just have to really kind of immerse yourself in every note that you're playing. You've got to make every note count, or what's the point in playing it? You lose yourself, and then you lose the person listening to it. So just make sure that every note gets proper attention. You only play as fast as you can give that proper attention to the notes. And that's kind of my take on it. Is your phrasing around the root notes? Anything using long? Yeah, shorts. Long shorts. I'm not sure what that means, Don. But it's around the root note areas for sure. The anchor notes, these two draw, three blow, six blow, and nine blow are the root notes in second position for the one chord. And I'm using them to often begin an idea and to end an idea. Because that just sounds great. You don't have to, but you should be doing that some of the time for sure. What's up, Colin? Good morning or evening from Russia. Right on. I have a crossover. How do they compare? Steve, the main difference is the tuning. They're almost identical to a crossover, as you can tell. Other than this little design here we talked about, and then a crossover standard tuning, and these are tuned one octave lower and sometimes up to two octaves. The Thunderbird, you can get keys that you cannot get in a Rocket. Rocket has limited tuning keys, although they did just come out with a low F sharp for the Rocket. But you can get like a low B flat and a low G and a double low F. You can't get that in a Rocket, but you can get it. The Rocket, you can get a C, D, E, E flat, F, F sharp. I believe those are the keys that are available. But it's a wonderful harmonica, and just don't be concerned about it being low tuned. Just play it, and try to get used to it. I have passion. I just can't bend or replicate a song, but I enjoy making my own. Well, that's a start. That's great. I mean, that's what it's all about at first, is exploration. But the idea of learning something simple like a melody is really key, because you're learning about where the notes lay out. When you learn melodies by position, it's teaching you key areas where these notes are. So then when you go to improvise, you're really aware often of where you want to be. Make sense? Tomorrow is my class, by the way. Just as a final reminder, I'm doing a Gary Primich Riffs class. I'm in love with the songs I chose. I'll link it again in the video description when I'm done here, but Gary Primich is one of my all-time favorite players, and I can't wait to break down full introductions and select riffs from 5 different songs that I've chosen. And the variety's awesome. We got a first position, third position, and a handful of second position tunes, and each one is totally unique. So I'm looking forward to it. Is your natural feel where you get lengths in the phrasing? Yeah, I think so. That's a good, interesting way to put it. I think so. Because when you hold the note and chords are going by, you're drawing people in. I'm not saying everything has to be like a long note, but man, my favorite stuff is when somebody's just holding something. It really gives me a chance to feel what they're doing. And I'm doing this in second position today, but this goes for if I was in third position, same idea, or first position, same kind of idea and approach with this approaching an improvisation to a slow blues. You're trying to tell a story. So if you come out of the gates running, there's nowhere to go from there. You want to start, I think it's nice to start with just some short, simple phrases. Just let it breathe for a minute. Maybe don't play right on the change. Change. Most people will play right on the changes, so switch that up sometimes. And when you're holding a long note, you have the opportunity to shape the note. You can use the hand wah, you can bring in texture, the dirty note of the 4 and 5 draw, you can bring vibrato and all these sweet things in. Just don't get ahead of yourself is what I'm suggesting. Those little statements are powerful. It's like, if you think about what another idea is, you think about what a singer is doing when they sing. That's often what I'm trying to emulate, is the way I might sing the song. You know, if this had lyrics, you know, like not every line you sing is going to be some long phrase or just a long note. Maybe just these short statements. So it's like, you know, when you're really, and I'm also really trying to get into that state of like almost trying to feel it to the point of like making it cry, not like imitating a cry, but making the instrument, you know what I'm saying. With the hand and the bends, you really can grab that feel. So stay in one spot and really see what you can do out of one hole. Have some fun with this stuff. And yeah, thanks for the plug. If you don't mind hitting the thumbs up button if you dig this video. I'm going to keep coming on, as I mentioned, way more often and doing videos this year. Live videos. Yeah, if you dig it, hit the thumbs up. And be sure to subscribe. I'd love for you to follow the channel so I can notify you when I'm going live. You'll get that, hit that bell icon. South Georgia, playing for 1 week now. Right on, David. Glad to hear the videos are helping. Huh, so you got a metal plate in the top of your mouth. Huh. You still might be able to work those bends. Maybe. Ah, man, I'm sorry to hear about your dog. Can I play the same song without the bends? Oh, well, that's a good point. Like if you're a total beginner, that's an interesting topic. What does a total beginner do when they don't have any? That's a really, here, let's do that. That's an interesting one. All right. Let's just choose a different track. Let's get out of this for a minute. This is all the MCCD sessions. This is an 8-bar slow blues. No bends. You can try to work on dynamic range where you slowly increase the volume and bring it down. I know I'm going to slip up and hit a bend. Jumping holes is a good idea. And playing with the timing, you can, as a beginner, you can start to double time it up. Da da. So that's what a beginner might sound like, but you just try to just take it easy. Use what you can. Your hands, use space, use dynamic range, use that syncopation and approach to changing up your rhythm. Yeah. All right. This dang little holder is giving me grief today. So yeah, slow blues. It's a fun practice point. And then the other big tip, if you're learning blues harp, is make sure that when you start to learn a new position, bring it into experiment with it all over the place. So that means for this track in C, you might want to try it on a C harp eventually, and a B flat for third position. C puts you in first position. Takes a little getting used to for a lot of folks. They got to learn a little blow bending and understand how to move through the scale notes on the bottom with the bends. But this would be on a B flat if I wanted to stay in C. All right? Otherwise, that puts me in the key of D when I'm playing third position. And it puts me in the key of, well, C on the key of C, if we're staying in C. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, you could, and also if you're a beginner, you could try just looping or repeating an idea. Hard not to bend. It's really a reach, but that's a great. I'm glad you brought that in, that comment, because what do? You work on just creating a feel and space when you're a beginner. So good luck with this stuff. Have fun with it. Maybe I'll see you in class tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central. You don't have to be there live. It's all recorded. I'll put that link in the video description. And just work on relaxing with this. The more you relax up here, the more your breathing relaxes, the better the results, especially for these low-tuned harps. Yes, indeed. All right, guys, I've got a jet. I will be back soon. I hope you have a great weekend, and if you're in the Northeast, stay inside. Sounds like you got some snow coming your way, especially Boston. Wow. Tons of stuff coming your way. So enjoy, though, and we'll catch up on the